Tribe, I become invincible with my 10,000 times bonus from the start. Chapter 51, Immortal Weapon, Gaze of the Ancient Evil God. Ding, dong. You've successfully consumed 200 hero skill points. Shadow Slash is now level 10. Ding, dong. You've successfully consumed 200 hero skill points. Moondance Slash is now level 10. Ding, dong. You've successfully consumed 200 hero skill points. Command Flame is now level 10. Shadow Slash. Description: releases a crescent-shaped sword aura, dealing damage to enemies in a straight line, up to 10,000. Level 10. Effect: deals 100 dark attribute damage to enemies in a straight line, up to 10,000, and causes enemies to enter Shadow Devour status. Damage received increased by 50%. Effect lasts for 3 minutes. Cost: 2000 mana points. Cooldown: 5 minutes. Moondance Slash. Description: summons moonlight to attack enemies. Level 10. Effect: deals magic attacks of 100 magic damage to up to 10,000 enemies, and causes enemies to slow down by 90%. Effect lasts for 3 minutes. Cost: 2000 mana points. Cooldown: 5 minutes. Command Flame. Level 10. Effect 1. When used, attacks from specified troops are fixed to fire. The duration of the attack is unlimited and can be cancelled anytime. Effect 2. When attacking from specified troops, there is a 100% chance of causing an explosion to up to 10 enemies within 200 yards. Player Netherworld's attacks have twice the damage. Effect 3. This skill effect cannot coexist with other skills. Cost: 10,000 mana points. Cooldown time: none. After seeing that all 3 skill levels had been maxed out, Li Cheng nodded his head in satisfaction. Lillian and Luna's skill damage had increased by a lot. There was also an additional effect. This wave could be said to be much stronger. Lillian's Shadow Slash could increase the damage on the enemy by half. This kind of effect would be very useful when fighting a boss. Luna's Moondance Slash was also not bad. It had a very strong speed reduction effect. After the level of Command Flame was pulled to the maximum, there was no cooldown time. Moreover, the skill's duration had become unlimited. It meant that as long as he used Command Flame once, the attacks of his troops would be fixed as fire damage. The mechanics would change rapidly. Of course, it could also be cancelled at any time. Moreover, the probability of triggering the explosion effect had increased to 100%, which was quite terrifying. It had to be said that after the hero skill levels were pulled to the maximum, those few skills received a qualitative leap. It was really not a waste of money. After looking at the hero skills, Li Cheng's gaze fell on the Immortal Grade Dazzling Supreme gift box. Even Li Cheng was a little shocked. In his previous life, the players had seen the highest level gift box, which was of mythical grade. He did not expect the system to give him an Immortal Grade gift box. An Immortal Grade gift box, even a god would be jealous. Thinking of this, Li Cheng did not hesitate and opened it immediately. He was eager to find out what good things would come out of this gift box. Boom! As Li Cheng opened the gift box, a bright golden light descended from the sky and enveloped Li Cheng. The sound of a system notification rang in his ears at the right time. Ding, dong! You've successfully opened the Immortal Grade Supreme gift box. You've received the Immortal Grade Gaze of the Gods. Ding, dong! You've triggered a 10,000 times amplification and received an Immortal Grade Gaze of the Ancient Evil Gods. Gaze of the Ancient Evil Gods, Immortal. Description: legend has it that when the Creator God created the universe, he encountered 3 ancient evil gods. These 3 evil gods were undying and indestructible, and even the Creator God could not kill them. In the end, the Creator God could only seal the 3 evil gods at the end of the universe. This ring came from the eye of an evil god. Grade: Immortal Tier 3. Type: Hero Equipment, limited to Lords. Location: Ring. Level: 30. Attribute 1, Intelligence plus 3000, Spirit plus 3000. Attribute 2, Magic damage plus 100%. Attribute 3, Evil God's Gaze. The target who is gazed at will experience a 9999 decrease in luck value. Permanently effective until the caster of the curse is killed. Cost: 200 luck value. Cooldown: 24 hours. Attribute 4, Ancient Curse. A curse from an ancient evil god. The player who is cursed will experience a 99% decrease in territory population limit and army morale. Permanently effective until the curse caster is killed. Cost: 1000 luck value. Cooldown: 30 days. Looking at the attributes of the ring, Li Cheng was shocked. It had to be said that the immortal grade item was so strong that it was unreasonable. Li Cheng had only heard a little about the 3 ancient evil gods in his previous life. They were terrifying existences that had opened up the world and shared life with the entire universe. Tens of thousands of years ago, there was once an evil god who ran out and caused trouble. All the gods from the good camp came out to snipe him, but no one knew what the result was. All they knew was that all the gods from the good camp of that era had suffered great losses. Even the powerful god of justice had lost an arm in that battle. Li Cheng did not expect that the equipment in his hand actually came from the ancient evil god, and its attributes were also extremely perverse. It gave him an additional 3000 intelligence and spirit points, and also doubled his magic damage. This directly increased Li Cheng's attack power by several times. If it was coupled with Command Flame, his current attack power would be extremely terrifying even if he was using trash soldiers. Especially the last 2 attributes, which made Li Cheng feel the terror of the evil god indirectly. Evil God's Gaze could reduce the luck value of a target by 9999 points. What did this mean? One had to know that in the entire tribe game, other than the goddess of luck and Li Cheng, no other creature, or even a god, could reach 10,000 points of luck value. This meant that the target that was being gazed at would have a negative luck value, and it was a negative number with an extremely high value. This was even more disgusting than stepping on a pile of dog *T. In Li Cheng's previous life, there was a guy who offended the goddess of misfortune. As a result, his luck value was reduced by 1000 points. The result was that all the heroes under the player rebelled against him. His troops would be injured after taking a few steps, and evil forces would visit his territory at any time. In less than a week, this player collapsed and chose to delete his account. Later on in the game forum, this player warmly greeted all the relevant people. This kind of result would give one goosebumps just thinking about it. This would make others too unlucky. What would be the effect of reducing someone's luck value by 9999 points? Li Cheng cannot imagine what will happen. Chapter 52, Equipment dropped by the Goddess of Poison. In the end, Li Cheng shifted his gaze on the last attribute, Ancient Curse. When he saw this attribute, even he could not help but say, "Who can take this? This is too ridiculous." Territory population limit and army morale would be reduced by 99%. What did this mean? What did this mean? A player would not be able to recruit any troops. If they used other methods to obtain troops, their morale would instantly drop. One had to know that in Tribe, if a player's morale was less than 30%, a normal army would collapse. One could say that if a player was hit by this skill, they could immediately announce the end of the game. If one concluded that the solution was to kill Li Cheng, it was impossible. The only pity was that to use this, he needed to be level 30. Li Cheng's current level was not high enough, so he could only temporarily put it in his backpack. After counting the system rewards, Li Cheng set his eyes on the Goddess of Poison. As the first kill in the world of gods, she should have dropped many good things. Unfortunately, if the descended avatar of a god was killed, the believers who were possessed would die instantly. In other words, the body of Andy, the holy son of the Poison Church, would be untouchable. At this time, Li Cheng picked up the colorful items on the ground, and the system's voice kept echoing in his ears. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times increase and obtained the mythical grade Poisonous Dagger. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times increase and obtained 100,000 relocation orders. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times increase. Ding, dong. The system's voice kept ringing in his ears. Li Cheng was already a little numb. After a while, he opened his backpack and began to count the equipment he received this time. Poisonous Dagger, Mythical. Profound Altar, Immortal Wonder. Relocation Order. Floating Island Coordinates, Number 3. Divine Power Crystal, Poison. After a simple glance, the Poisonous Dagger was a Tier 5 mythical grade equipment with good attributes. However, Li Cheng did not really need it, so he put it aside. The next item made Li Cheng look sideways, and he instantly became alert. Profound Altar, Immortal Wonder. Description: an altar used by an ancient empire. It can improve the communication between believers and gods. Level 1. Grade: Immortal Wonder. Effect: believers receive a plus 1000% belief value when they pray. Li Cheng had never thought that such an architectural wonder would appear. It was the kind that had already been built. All he needed to do was to place it down and it would be usable. An architectural wonder was a special existence in Tribe. When an architectural wonder was used by a player, other players could not use it again. It was a unique existence. Unless the original building was destroyed, no other players would be able to use the building, not even if one dropped the building or the design blueprint. As for the effect of this altar, Li Cheng felt that it was too strong. Belief value was really important to gods. It had a wide range of uses. Not only could it strengthen oneself, but it could also be used as currency between gods. The method for gods to obtain belief value could be said to be very easy and simple, through prayers of the believers. There was no other way. The effect of this altar was to obtain 10 times more belief value. Li Cheng believed that no god could refuse such an altar. The only thing that made Li Cheng feel regretful was that Trelafani was too weak. If this was obtained by a powerful god, perhaps the entire structure of the continent would be changed. After thinking about it, Li Cheng still decided to build this wonder in his own territory. Of course, this was not to work for Trelafani. In fact, during the short period of time he spent with Trelafani, Li Cheng already had a bold idea in his mind. Becoming a god was one of Li Cheng's current goals. Only by becoming a god would he be able to survive the war of the gods and the invasion of the demons. In his previous life, no human had become a god. The final result was that humans would become the toys of the gods. If Li Cheng became a god, he could turn Trelafani into his subordinate god. He would have a 10,000 times increase, too. This would not be a difficult thing. At that time, Trelafani would be his follower, and her belief value would be his. Therefore, although it seemed like Li Cheng was working for Trelafani again, the biggest beneficiary was actually Li Cheng himself. He had long coveted Trelafani's body. No, it was her divine power. Putting away his messy thoughts, Li Cheng temporarily put the altar into his backpack, and then looked at the relocation order. Relocation order. Description: a special token from the Church of the Goddess of Space. It contains the power of space. Level 1. Effect: after use, it moves the entire territory to the player's current coordinates. Restriction: the current coordinates must have enough space to accommodate the current territory. Each player can only use the relocation order once a month. The effect of the relocation order was simple and clear. It could move a player's territory to another coordinate. It could be considered a strategic resource. This was especially true for various large guilds. With the relocation order, they could build their members' territories together, build a defensive line together, and support each other. In the later stages of the game, after the return of the Goddess of Space, this item could be said to be a common item. The Church of the Goddess of Space would sell this item and it was not expensive. Now, however, if Li Cheng remembered correctly, the Goddess of Space was trapped in a large-scale secret land. Rescuing her would only happen a few years later in his previous life. The current relocation order was still very rare. It could be sold for around 100,000 gold coins on the black market. Of course, it did not mean much to Li Cheng, as he was not short of money. Then, Li Cheng looked at the floating island coordinates. Floating island coordinates, number 3. Description: a small piece of paper containing the coordinates of floating island number 3. I wonder who wrote it. Level 1. Effect: after use, the coordinates of the third floating island are obtained. It's actually the floating island. Looking at this item, Li Cheng rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Floating island. These two words were too impressive. This item was something that even gods would go crazy over. They would not hesitate to fight for it. Chapter 53, Soaring Resources. It was rumored that when the god of creation created the continent, he left behind 16 floating islands. These floating islands were actually floating continents from another plane. As long as they had sufficient energy, they could float in the air. Most importantly, the floating islands had their own unique technology. Whether it was defense or offense, they were extremely powerful. Li Cheng remembered that in his previous life, there was a player who had obtained floating island number 13. He had used the relocation order to successfully transfer his territory there. The result was obvious. His floating island had completely become a war fortress that terrified everyone. If the players wanted to attack the floating island, they could only use flying troops. However, flying troops were extremely rare here. In addition to the floating island's unique defense system, even if the entire world attacked it together, they might not be able to take it down. As for the third floating island, according to Li Cheng's estimation, its area was at least thousands of times larger than the 13th floating island. If I can control the third floating island, I won't have to be afraid even if a high-level god attacks it non-stop. Thinking of this, Li Cheng did not hesitate to use it immediately. The voice of the system rang in his ears. Ding, dong. You've used the floating island number 3 coordinates. Ding, dong. Floating island number 3 is located at the Furnace of Death. Coordinates are 54,322, 67821. Hearing the location of the target mentioned by the system, Li Cheng frowned. Furnace of Death, this place was too dangerous. He remembered that the Furnace of Death was located under the River Styx, and in the River Styx, there were countless terrifying existences living there. Just the number of immortal-grade existences alone was huge. There were also all sorts of gods living in the River Styx, countless crown and legendary troops, and they were all at the max level. Moreover, the entire River Styx would provide them with a high amount of attribute bonuses. Thinking of this, Li Cheng's thoughts of going immediately were put aside. He did not want to die, so he could only leave it for the future. After all, he was determined to get the floating island. At this time, Li Cheng's gaze landed on the last spoils of war. There were countless dark green crystals the size of fingernails. Divine Power Crystal, Poison. Description: the Divine Power Crystal condensed by the Goddess of Poison contains a large amount of her divine power. Level 1. Type: Small. Effect: looking at the system's introduction, Li Cheng really felt that it was a little ridiculous. Divine Power Crystal. Just by looking at its name, one could tell that it was produced by a god. It could increase one's divine power level. Li Cheng did not expect that the system would actually increase his divine power level by 10,000. Unfortunately, Li Cheng did not have the ability to consume these crystals at the moment. Li Cheng was still immortal, and mortals could not enjoy divine power. This kind of crystal could only be given to a god. Li Cheng immediately thought of Trelafani, but he quickly rejected it. This kind of divine power crystal had been engraved with the mark of the goddess of poison. If he wanted to absorb it, he had to get rid of the mark on the crystal. With Trelafani's trash divine power, it would take at least 100 years to get rid of the mark on such a crystal. It was not worth it. In the end, Li Cheng temporarily threw it into his backpack and left it for later. After taking stock of the harvest, Li Cheng began to check the casualties of the troops. After taking a glance, Li Cheng heaved a sigh of relief. There were no casualties among the troops. Some of the forced marksmen's HP had indeed been affected when they were retreating, but with the goddess of life's sigh, they were resurrected on the spot with full HP. At this time, the holy light priests were healing the troops. The HP of the troops was increasing at a visible rate. The system's notification rang again. Ding, dong. You've cleared a base of the Church of Poison. Total reward, 6,000 contribution points, 39,520 gold coins, 48,520 wood, 23,640 iron ores, 28,570 stones, 38,450 food, 100,000 crystals. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times increase. Total reward, 600,000,000, contribution points 395,200,000,000 gold coins, 485,200,000,000 wood, 236,400,000,000 iron ores, 285,700,000,000 stones, 384,500,000 food, 10 million crystals. Ding, dong. You've completely destroyed the Church of Poison stronghold in Death Valley. This matter has been widely spread across the continent. Your reputation value has increased by 1,000 points. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times increase. Your reputation has increased by 10 million points. Ding, dong. As your reputation value is extremely high, many NPCs like your territory. Territory attraction has increased by 100 points. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times increase. Territory attraction has increased by 1,000,000 points. After the system's voice disappeared, Li Cheng also saw the news. It had to be said that the Church of Poison was quite rich. After this wave, Li Cheng did not even know how much he had earned. Those gold coins, stone materials, food, and so on were coming in by the hundreds of billions of units. If this data were to be spread out, it was unknown how many people's jaws would drop. What made Li Cheng satisfied was that after cleaning up the 3 strongholds, there were actually tens of billions of crystals in his account. This time, he did not lack crystals anymore. In addition, what Li Cheng did not expect was that his territory began to attract NPCs. Moreover, the attraction was as high as 1 million. In fact, in the whole of tribe, the players and many empires were in a competitive relationship. People on this continent would naturally choose to live in the player's territory. However, such people were rare. After all, compared to the other empires that had existed for thousands of years, the safety and prosperity of the players' territories were not on the same level. However, Li Cheng estimated that there would be many NPCs entering his underworld. One had to know that in tribe, civilians had combat strength. All the NPCs that moved in had combat power. If he wanted to raise these NPCs, he would only need some food. However, Li Cheng did not lack resources at all. At this moment, Li Cheng looked at the battle situation of the players. On the leaderboard, Pearl was still far ahead. She had killed more than 10,000 monsters, while the player in second place only killed more than 7,000. Li Cheng estimated that in another hour, the monsters would be mostly cleared. At this moment, the sound of a system notification rang in his ear. Ding, dong, you have an external call. Do you want to answer it? Li Cheng was a little confused, so he temporarily went offline for a while. He took off the game helmet and stretched his stiff neck. He got up from the bed and opened the door, only to find that it was the game's official staff. Li Cheng thought that there was something going on, but he did not expect that he would be given a nutrient solution. It was enough for him to use for a few months. With the gaming pod and a few months of nutrient solutions, Li Cheng's offline time could be further compressed. He could also fully devote himself to the game. Chapter 54, Reward Distribution, Purple Rose's Interrogation. Since he was offline, Li Cheng was not in a hurry to get online. Looking at the time, it was already past 12 o'clock in the afternoon and his stomach was a little hungry. He put on his clothes and walked outside. He casually entered the nearest snack shop, and when he looked up, he found that the television in the shop was displaying information about Tribe. Today, player Netherworld successfully killed the incarnation of a god and obtained a mythical grade gift box. Many players have suspected that Netherworld used a cheat and asked the authorities to investigate. The authorities have also given a response to this matter, saying that Tribe is run by a unique artificial intelligence which absolutely doesn't allow any form of cheating. Netherworld has already announced that the first player on the ranking list can get 10 million basic resources. Once the news is out, the whole world will be shocked. According to the current situation, the player Pearl is far ahead. According to the reports from the frontline reporters, there aren't many monsters left in Death Valley and the Misty Forest. Does this mean that Pearl's position at the number 1 spot has been confirmed? After this wave of operations by Li Cheng, the entire world was no longer calm. Other than doubting him for cheating, most of them were guessing his identity. The scene of him attacking many guilds and humiliating Peerless Pride was also broadcasted on television, causing quite a stir. Li Cheng ate as he watched the television. At this moment, the television suddenly broadcasted a piece of news. According to reliable news, the Eagle Alliance's legendary player, Eve, is leading the guild and is about to launch an attack on the elite-level secret plane. Eve was a name that Li Cheng was very familiar with. She was the number 1 expert on Earth and had started from scratch. The guild that she had founded had gradually become the number 1 guild in the world and was extremely powerful. In his previous life, in the Alliance Wars, she was the main character of the main characters. She was usually the big boss in the eyes of the Alliance players. Even the people from the Alliance were terrified when they heard the name Eve. Her strength was definitely an existence that made people despair. But now, Li Cheng looked at the red-haired woman on the television and a smile appeared on his face. In this life, Eve was pitifully weak in front of him. After eating, Li Cheng returned to the game cabin. He added the nutrient solution, locked the door, and lied down before continuing to play the game. Ding, dong, welcome back to Tribe. I wish you a happy game. As the system's voice faded, Li Cheng appeared in Death Valley once again. His troops were also waiting for him quietly. At this moment, the system's voice rang again. Ding, dong. You've successfully cleared the mission targets in the Misty Forest and Death Valley. Holy War target achieved. Ding, dong. You may head to the City of Light to receive the mission reward. He had only eaten for an hour, and the crazy players had already cleared out all the monsters on the 2 maps. It had to be said that with Li Cheng's super buff, the combat power of the players was relatively significant. At this time, Li Cheng also fulfilled his promise and rewarded the players on the leaderboard. It was very refreshing. Ding, dong. Holy War announcement. The rewards for the players on the leaderboard have been distributed. The announcement rang in the ears of the players. Everyone was stunned for a moment before they became restless. Ha ha ha, I came early and barely managed to rank 10th. I'm rich, ha ha ha, a whole million worth of basic resources. Wow, I'm really envious. I'm afraid these people on the leaderboard are about to take off in the game, right? Sob, 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 I'm crying. My 10 million basic resources have been snatched away. Hehe, do you have any face? You think you can even snatch Pearl Boss's position? Netherworld Boss is so awesome. I won't say anything else. From now on, I'll hang out with Netherworld. At Netherworld, Boss, call us if you have any missions in the future. I'll definitely be the first to arrive. Us, too. Netherworld Boss only needs to say a word, and we'll definitely be the first to arrive. This time, every player who accepted the quest received at least 10,000 contribution points and they were all beaming with joy. Li Cheng's reputation was also thoroughly spread. If one followed Li Cheng, there would be meat to eat. Those on the leaderboard immediately became rich, and a large amount of resources entered their accounts. Their hearts were also filled with joy. Among them, there were some powerful unspecialized players who made up their minds to follow Li Cheng in the future. Some were happy while others were worried. At this moment, a young girl was frowning. Her ID was Pearl, and she ranked first on the kill leaderboard. However, Li Cheng did not give her any rewards. Could it be that she had been played by the Netherworld? Or could it be that Netherworld did not have these 10 million resources? At this moment, Pearl thought a lot and was at a loss. She did not know what to do. At that moment, the system's voice rang in her ears. Ding, dong, Netherworld has requested to add you as a friend. Do you accept? At that moment, Pearl did not hesitate and immediately agreed to the request. She wanted to ask Li Cheng why her resources had not been distributed yet. However, before she could say anything, Li Cheng sent a message, causing her pupils to constrict. Zhang Shuer, do you want revenge? Since the Holy War of the Church of Light had a special mechanism, the monsters killed could not be regenerated, so the Misty Forest and Death Valley were now completely free of monsters. However, the best place for players to level up in Tribe was the Secret Realm dungeons. After clearing the monsters, 2 Secret Realm dungeons of different sizes were dug out. The players immediately began to form teams and marched toward various mystical realms. Li Cheng naturally looked down on those low-level mystical realms. His next goal was very clear. It was a level 20 super-large mystical realm, Ice Dragon City. However, before that, Li Cheng still needed to settle Pearl. After sending that message, he waited for Pearl's arrival. He did not expect that Pearl did not come, but instead, another purple figure arrived first. Purple Rose had her hands on her hips. The eyes beneath the mask were filled with anger. From the looks of it, those who did not know would think that she was a wife who had been abandoned. What's the matter? Li Cheng asked. Why did you block me? Seeing Li Cheng's nonchalant look, Purple Rose became even angrier. Because you're too noisy. Li Cheng told the truth and did not hide anything. Purple Rose was speechless. This man was really too infuriating. She had thought about what Netherworld would reply to her, but she never thought that Netherworld would dislike her for being noisy. Purple Rose was so angry that her full chest heaved up and down. This man could dislike her for being noisy? It was really too detestable. She cursed in her heart. Such a man would definitely be single for the rest of his life and die alone. Chapter 55, Is This World Sick? Purple Rose took a few deep breaths and forced herself to calm down. Then, she stretched out her fair hand and said to Li Cheng, "Where's my reward?" "What reward?" Li Cheng was a little confused. Other than pearls, all the other rewards had been distributed. Humph, our Rose Guild has killed more than 100,000 monsters in total, which is 10 times more than the pearl. So, the number 1 spot belongs to our Rose Guild. Hurry up and give it to us. Purple Rose explained proudly. Hearing this, Cheng Li was speechless. He looked at Purple Rose as if she was an idiot. *CK all of them from the guild. Why don't you go up to the sky and stand shoulder to shoulder with the sun? What's with that look? Is there something wrong with what I said? Seeing Li Cheng looking at her with such a look, Purple Rose was instantly unhappy. Hee. Li Cheng gave a perfunctory smile and ignored this woman whose brain had not fully evolved. At that moment, a young girl wearing a simple mask walked over with her troops. It was Pearl. Her troops were all injured and their health was not very high. It seemed that she had suffered a great loss after this battle. She had put in a lot of effort. Pearl did not say anything. She just stared at Li Cheng as if she wanted to observe him. Tell me, what's your choice? Li Cheng did not beat around the bush and asked her immediately. Pearl took a few deep breaths. It was obvious that she was not calm in her heart. In the end, she gave him her answer with much difficulty. If you can do it, you have my word. Hearing this answer, Li Cheng smiled slightly. His number one employee was already in place. In their previous communication, Li Cheng had already stated his conditions. There was a price to be paid for wanting Li Cheng to help her get revenge. Pearl would completely become Li Cheng's person. Of course, she could choose whatever capacity she wanted to be in. Pearl started to hesitate when she heard his condition. To her, although Netherworld was very famous and powerful, could he really help her take revenge? To her, this was undoubtedly a huge gamble. If she gambled correctly, she would be able to take revenge successfully. If she gambled wrongly, she would be doomed. In the end, after much consideration, she still agreed to Li Cheng's conditions. After Pearl agreed, the system notification rang in Li Cheng's ear. Ding, dong, Pearl has requested to become your vassal lord. Do you agree? I agree. Li Cheng did not expect this woman to take action the moment she made her decision. Ding, dong, Pearl has become your vassal lord. This agreement is permanent and cannot be broken. Ding, dong. Alliance announcement. Player Pearl has become Netherworld's vassal lord. After the agreement took effect, the system popped up with a vassal management interface. Vassal management. 1. You can obtain the resources and troops of a vassal lord, 0%. 2. You can forcefully obtain the construction rights of a vassal lord's territory. 3. You can forcefully obtain the troops of a vassal lord. A vassal lord was a very special mechanism in Tribe. There were very few players who signed it because it was no different from becoming someone else's slave. At this moment, Li Cheng could control all of Pearl's resources and troops. Furthermore, Pearl could not resist his wishes. However, Li Cheng did not care about Pearl's little resources and troops. In Li Cheng's eyes, they were pitifully weak. The reason why he cared about Pearl was very simple, because she was an S-class talent. This also meant that the upper limit of their troops' population was an additional 500%. Li Cheng did not need the additional population and cannon fodder. He could just throw them into her territory. As his worker, it was the most suitable action. After doing all this, Li Cheng threw her a relocation order and said, "Move your territory to mine as soon as possible." After saying that, Li Cheng gave her the coordinates of his territory. Okay. After agreeing to become Li Cheng's vassal lord, she naturally did not have any objections to this request. Resources. I'll give them to you when your territory moves over, Li Cheng said. Pearl nodded and did not say anything. She turned around and left. She did not know if she had made the right decision. When the alliance announcement rang, the players were dumbfounded. They did not know what had happened. F***ck, what's going on? Pearl has become Netherworld's vassal lord? I saw the information on the official website. The treatment of a vassal lord's no different from a slave. What did Netherworld boss do to Pearl? Pearl's a well-known powerhouse after all. How could she agree to become his vassal lord? Think about it. His underworld represents darkness while Pearl represents light. Maybe they knew each other before and have a touching love story. F***ck, the story above seems to make sense. I just don't know what happened between them. To be honest, I'm quite curious, too. Purple Rose, who was at the scene, was completely confused by what she had witnessed. What was going on? Netherworld only said one sentence, and Pearl agreed to become his vassal lord? What was wrong with this world? Was it still the same world that she knew? After all, as a female unspecialized expert of the Divine Dragon Alliance, Pearl had met her offline before. Purple Rose had sent her countless invitations and even agreed to let her become one of Rose Guild's higher UPS. However, this kind of invitation was unquestionably rejected by Pearl without a trace of hesitation. Earlier just now, Li Cheng asked her a single question, and Pearl actually agreed to become his vassal lord? This made Purple Rose suspect that she was dreaming. It was probably caused by insufficient nutrient supply. Only now did Purple Toes confirm that she was not mistaken. Pearl had indeed become Netherworld's vassal lord. This made her feel that the world was a sick place. Li Cheng did not care what Purple Rose was thinking. After the matter was settled, he led his troops toward his goal. Seeing that Li Cheng was about to leave, Purple Rose immediately called out to him, "Netherworld, wait. What else do you want?" Li Cheng did not want to stay with this annoying demon any longer. Purple Rose was speechless. Seeing Li Cheng's reaction, Purple Rose seriously doubted whether she was still attractive, or was this Netherworld uninterested in women and only interested in men. However, she came to look for Li Cheng for official business. As the guild leader of the three major guilds in the alliance, she knew when to do what she had to do. Chapter 56, Dragon's Blood Crystal, Nightmare Level Secret Realm. Are Rose Guilds going to raid a normal grade level 10 Secret Realm dungeon later? Do you want to come? We'll split the reward, 50-50. Hearing this, Li Cheng shook his head without thinking and said, I don't have the time. Level 10 dungeon? Normal grade Secret Realm? He would not even fight a dog. It was a complete waste of time. Moreover, the rewards of a level 10 Secret Realm were too trashy. With his current power and resources, why would he fight such a low-level Secret Realm? However, on second thought, Li Cheng could recruit a lot of low-level troops every day. If it was thrown into Pearl's territory, it would be perfect for a violent army. Thinking of this, Li Cheng took out 2 potions from his backpack. He waved them at Purple Rose and said, "These 2 potions in exchange for your Secret Realm's recruitment authority." If this was the first time she cleared a Secret Realm, there was a high chance that she would be able to obtain a recruitment authority. Seeing that Li Cheng took out 2 potions and wanted to exchange them for the recruitment authority, she was very disdainful. She snorted lightly. Her arrogant nostrils were about to go up to the sky. Did Netherworld just give her a request? With these 2 small bottles, wanting to exchange them for the recruitment authority, was he dreaming? However, she cast a detection spell and checked the attributes of the potions. Li Cheng could clearly see that Purple Rose was stunned for a moment. Then, a look of disbelief appeared on her face. She hurriedly snatched the potion from Li Cheng's hands and nodded vigorously. Deal, deal. Whoever regrets it will be the loser. 2 bottles of legendary grade potions. Even a fool could beat a normal grade Secret Realm. This deal was a sure win. After bidding farewell to Purple Rose, Li Cheng continued to lead his troops toward the target. Their destination was neither too far nor too close. If it was an ordinary lord, it would take them a long time to reach their destination. However, with Li Cheng's shadow army, his movement speed could be said to be extremely fast. After 2 hours, they finally arrived at their destination. In front of them was a towering snow mountain covered in white snow. The falling snow looked like pure white lines, forming a beautiful sight. Under this beautiful scenery, the environment could be said to be extremely harsh. If it was an ordinary player, they would find it difficult to endure such a cold temperature. Even their line of sight might not be able to penetrate the thick snow. However, to Li Cheng, all of this was not a problem. He easily identified the location and quickly arrived at his destination. In the vast snowy land, there was a teleportation gate made of ice. Li Cheng did not go forward immediately. Instead, he just stared at the teleportation portal. Ordinary players would not be able to notice that there were countless pure white terrifying creatures hidden around the teleportation portal. This was their natural camouflage. Densely scattered around the teleportation portal, their bodies were snow white, helping them merge with the surrounding snow. If one did not look carefully, one would not be able to notice their existence. They were shaped like lizards, but they were many times larger. Occasionally, their claws and teeth would reflect the cold light. It was obvious that they were not easy to deal with. Moreover, Li Cheng saw two monsters that were particularly vigilant among the rest. He cast a few scouting spells and in an instant, the attributes of the monsters appeared on the interface. Dragon Blood Warrior. Description: a warrior formed from the blood of the frost dragon. Their purpose is to protect the mysterious portal. Level: 20. Grade: Gold. HP: 70 million. Attack: 38,000. Defense: 600. Skills: Frost Dragon Scales, Dragon Blood Boiling, Pseudo Dragon Breath. The ones guarding the portal were gold grade bosses? Li Cheng was also a little surprised when he saw this. Although he had participated in the attack of this mystical realm in his previous life, he was only a small character at that time and did not know much about it. He did not expect that there would be two gold-grade bosses at the entrance of the mystical realm. Of course, to Li Cheng, these two bosses were pitifully weak. Li Cheng gestured, and Luna nodded her head in understanding. Instantly, the Frost Marksmen fired some arrows. In just an instant, their health bars were emptied and they fell to the ground powerlessly, sending snowflakes flying everywhere. At the same time, the system's voice rang in Li Cheng's ears. Ding, dong. Your troops have killed the gold-grade bosses, the Dragon Blood Warriors. You've obtained 400,000 experience points. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times amplification. Your troops have obtained 4 billion experience points. You've obtained 40 million experience points. Ding, dong. Your experience points are full. Please. After killing the two gold-grade bosses, Li Cheng led his team slowly to the teleportation portal. At the spot where the Dragon Blood Warriors were, there were some things covered in a colorful glow. Li Cheng picked it up casually, and the system notification rang at the right time. Ding, dong. You've obtained 32,000 small dragon's blood crystals. Ding, dong. You've obtained 20,000 large dragon's blood crystals. Dragon's blood crystal? Could it be? Li Cheng thought of an advanced material in his mind and immediately checked the attributes of the dragon's blood crystals. Dragon's blood crystal, large. Description: advanced material. A crystal condensed from the blood of a giant dragon. I wonder what use it has. Seeing the attributes, Li Cheng's eyes lit up. It was indeed the advanced material that he had thought of. As an advanced material, the dragon's blood crystal had a lot of uses. Firstly, it could be used to make weapons and equipment. Secondly, it could be eaten directly by dragons. After eating it, it could recover a large amount of HP. Li Cheng also knew another use of the dragon's blood crystal. This item could be used to incubate dragon eggs. When incubating dragon eggs, the crystals could be used to accelerate the incubation speed of the dragon eggs. It could also increase the success rate of incubating dragon eggs. After keeping the crystals, Li Cheng looked at the teleportation portal in front of him. Frost Dragon City. Description: thousands of years ago, the frost dragons disappeared. After they disappeared, a huge snow mountain that covered tens of thousands of miles appeared. On the other end of the teleportation portal was where the frost dragons were. Level: 20. Difficulty: Normal, Elite, Hero, Nightmare. Entry requirement: Territory level above 10. Dungeon nature, unique. Dungeon CD, cannot be challenged again. Looking at this introduction, Li Cheng smiled and said, "It really is the arcane realm." In his previous life, Frost Dragon City could be said to be the first nightmare-level arcane realm that the human lords had encountered. At that time, the Divine Dragon Alliance had gathered all their strength to raid it. In Tribe, secret realms had many difficulties. Basically, they could be divided into normal, elite, hero, nightmare, doomsday, and so on. The higher the level, the more players would be needed to raid it. Under normal circumstances, the highest difficulty one could encounter in the wild was nightmare level. Only some large-scale events or special maps would produce doomsday-level secret realms. Chapter 57, Entering Frost Dragon City. In Tribe, there were two types of secret realms. One was a public secret realm that could be explored endlessly. It was a good place for players to level up and farm troops. Even if they could not beat it, they could leave in time. The other was a unique secret realm. All players could only enter once in their lives, and they only had one chance to clear it. Regardless of whether they cleared it or not, they could not enter it again if they left or died. Of course, the rewards were also very rich. The prerequisite was that one could clear it. Otherwise, everything would be for naught. Thinking of this point, Li Cheng did not hesitate and walked into the secret realm. When choosing the difficulty, he chose to challenge the highest difficulty, Nightmare level. Ding, dong, you've chosen the Nightmare level difficulty. Under this difficulty, the highest level allows 10,000 players to challenge it at the same time. Each person can bring a maximum of 100,000 troops. Ding, dong, are you sure you wish to proceed? Yes. Just as Li Cheng's voice fell, a ray of light descended from the sky and enveloped Li Cheng and his troops. Then, it disappeared. Ding, dong, you've entered the Nightmare level Frost Dragon City. Ding, dong, you've been affected by an unknown effect. All monster attributes in the secret realm have increased by 50%. Your troops' attributes have decreased by 50%. Ding, dong, the countdown has begun. 23 hours and 59 minutes left. Please complete the challenge within the stipulated time. Ding, dong, current mystical realm challenge success requirement: clear all monsters. A series of system notifications rang in Li Cheng's ears. Nightmare level secret realms could only be cleared by gathering the troops of over 10,000 players. 10,000 players, 100,000 troops per person, that was a total of 1 billion troops. Only then was it possible to clear the secret realm. It was a little unrealistic to clear the level alone. Of course, this was only true for ordinary people. Li Cheng was not one of them. At this moment, an ice-blue halo instantly appeared below Li Cheng's troops. This was the debuff of a secret land. The attributes of all troops would be reduced by half, and all monsters' attributes would be increased by half. No matter how strong one was, one could only display half of their troops' strength. This was the terrifying aspect of a nightmare-level secret realm. Li Cheng did not bother with this debuff. Instead, he looked at the entire secret realm. The interior of the secret realm was a vast expanse of whiteness. It was no different from the outside world. However, this did not stop Li Cheng. Under his observation, he discovered that there were no changes to this secret realm. It was exactly the same as in his previous life. He knew that the seemingly calm ice and snow actually hid countless terrifying frost dragons. They were all flying in the sky, and their huge bodies could fuse with the ice and snow. For those who did not understand, they would suffer a great loss. In his previous life, the players had been caught unprepared. Some lords were all melee fighters, and without long-range attack units, they could only retreat dejectedly. Thinking of this, Li Cheng shook his head slightly. This time, he planned to clear the dungeon alone. Naturally, he was prepared, so he led his troops forward. The enemies in the arcane realm were mainly the dragon blood warriors. However, compared to the outside world, their attributes were much stronger. Their tiers had reached level 7, and they were mostly level 30 monsters. Moreover, their equipment column had additional gold equipment, gold dragon bone armor. It could increase physical defense and magic resistance by 12%. Of course, all of this was useless to Li Cheng. When he saw the monsters, he immediately ordered all the troops to start clearing them out. In an instant, countless arrows shot out into the sky. The dragon blood warriors did not react at all. Their health bars were emptied and the kill notifications kept ringing. Li Cheng did not care about this. Instead, he looked at the sky. The truly troublesome ones were there. Roar! Suddenly, a terrifying dragon that was dozens of meters long appeared in the sky. The dragon's scales reflected the cold light. It was opening its mouth wide, revealing its sharp white teeth as it charged toward Li Cheng's troops. Seeing this, Li Cheng immediately cast a scouting spell. The information of the dragon immediately appeared. Frost Dragon, Juvenile. Description: a frost dragon that has yet to reach adulthood. For some unknown reason, it has entered a state of madness and will attack any living creature that enters the city. Level: 20. Grade: Gold. HP: 140 million. Attack: 4.6,000. Defense: 760. Skills: Dragon's Body, Frost Dragon's Breath, Death Pounce, Tier, Dragon Race Characteristics. Li Cheng knew very well that all the dragons in the city had been greatly weakened. However, to the current players, their attributes were still off the charts. Especially their HP. With the buff from the secret realm, they had a total of 140 million HP. Compared to their HP, the most terrifying thing was their defense. With over 760 points of defense, ordinary players' troops would not be able to break through their defense at all. In his previous life, the players often used millions of troops to fight against a frost dragon. At that time, they did not have any high-tier troops and often could not even break through their opponent's defense. Of course, in front of Li Cheng, the word defense did not exist. He gently waved his hand and ordered the frost marksmen to quickly focus their attacks on the frost dragon. Whoosh! 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 Countless arrows pierced through the air and hit the frost dragon's ice blue scales. Fresh blood spurted out from the horrifying wound. Before the volley of arrows even ended, the frost dragon's HP was instantly depleted. Ding, dong! Your troops have killed a gold-grade frost dragon. You've obtained 400 experience points. Ding, dong! You've successfully triggered a 10,000 times amplification. Your troops have obtained 4 million experience points. You've obtained 40,000 experience points. Ding, dong! Your quest, the Second Lord's Trial, has new progress. Ding, dong! Your experience points have reached the upper limit. You're unable to obtain more experience points. As the frost dragon's body fell into the snow, the system notification rang in Li Cheng's ears. At the same time, the progress of his quest had also changed. This was the reason why Li Cheng came to the Frost Dragon City. Other than the normal dragon blood warriors, the most trashy frost dragon was also a gold-grade boss. If Li Cheng remembered correctly, the number of frost dragons present was around 2,000. The number of epic-grade dragons was also not small. It was more than enough to complete his quest. Li Cheng's target was the big ones. He did not care about the small dragon blood warriors at all. He immediately ordered, "Split up and kill all the monsters here." Yes. Lillian and Luna nodded. They led their troops and pounced on the groups of monsters. The strategy of the arcane realm was very straightforward. It was to kill all the monsters within the stipulated time. This was not difficult. There were red dots on the map. Lillian and Luna just needed to follow the red dots and clear the way. Chapter 58, kill the legendary Frost Dragon boss. However, that was not Li Cheng's goal. There was a hidden quest in the Frost Dragon City. The first reward of the Frost Dragon City in his previous life had been taken away by a guild called Battle Souls. Players who cleared the dungeon after that could only receive normal quest rewards. A few years after the server opened, a player triggered a hidden quest and triggered the only storyline. He received a huge amount of rewards and became a world-class expert player. At the same time, he triggered a brand new version. However, Li Cheng was not in a hurry. There was still a long time before the arcane realm closed, so he was prepared to advance slowly in order to be safe. Half an hour later. World announcement. Player Netherworld has successfully passed the test and become a Tier 2 Lord. As the first Tier 2 Lord in the world, you're hereby rewarded 5,000 gold coins and 100 reputation points. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times amplification and obtained 50 million gold coins and 1 million reputation points. Looking at the countless frost dragons lying on the ground, Li Cheng's Lord quest had been successfully completed. The territory level had been increased to level 30 and some new buildings had been unlocked. As long as he returned to his territory, he could proceed with upgrading and construction. Li Cheng had been in the secret realm for half an hour and had killed countless monsters. However, the entire map was still filled with red dots. There were many monsters in the nightmare difficulty secret realm. Even with Li Cheng's speed of clearing the monsters, it would still take him a long time. He roughly estimated that if he had the authority to clear it, it would take about 6 to 7 hours. He was not in a hurry now, so he waited patiently. At the same time, somewhere with a beautiful scenery. Eve's red hair fluttered in the wind as she looked at the red dots on the map that were gradually disappearing. Her delicate lips could not help but curl upwards. In front of her, the dark army was slowly advancing toward the monsters. Ha ha ha, our Eve is indeed undefeatable. Long live heaven! Long live heaven! When we get the first clear, we'll definitely scare the people from the Divine Dragon Alliance. The people from the Divine Dragon Alliance are just lucky. Our Eagle Alliance is the best in the world. The members of the guild were all in high spirits. These people were all members of the number 1 guild in the world, Heaven Guild. The guild was also created by Eve. The secret realm they were currently raiding was the normal level secret realm, Bat Swamp. Furthermore, their progress was not slow. All of this was due to Eve's level 8 soldiers, the heavy armored barbarians. From their name alone, it was obvious that they were strong tank soldiers. Even if it was a gold grade boss, they would be able to withstand it. It was truly terrifying. Everyone, come on, let's strive for the first clear of the arcane realm today. Naturally, as the guild leader, Eve would not weaken her guild's momentum. She also had her own sources of information. She knew that most of the big guilds in the Divine Dragon Alliance were raiding level 10 normal level arcane realms. If Heaven could conquer level 20 arcane realms, then they would be able to suppress the Divine Dragon Alliance. This time, no one will be able to stop the Eagle Alliance. Netherworld, I want to see your expression when the time comes. Eve thought confidently. When she thought of this, a confident smile appeared on her face. Frost Dragon City. A few hours later, the sun in the sky had gradually dimmed. Suddenly, a frost dragon that was dozens of meters long slammed into the ground. The sound of a system notification rang in Li Cheng's ears. Ding, dong. Your team has killed an epic grade frost dragon. You've obtained 20 million experience points. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times amplification. Your troops have obtained 200 million experience points. You've obtained 2,000 million experience points. Ding, dong. Your experience points have reached the upper limit. You're unable to obtain any more experience points. Li Cheng looked at the frost dragon on the ground expressionlessly. This fellow was already the strongest boss in the secret realm. In his previous life, this epic grade frost dragon had caused players a lot of suffering. At that time, more than half of Li Cheng's troops had been killed by this dragon. Now, however, with just one round of concentrated fire, Li Cheng had only used a few buffs and its health bar had already bottomed out. Li Cheng went forward and touched the frost dragon's body. Suddenly, a lot of notifications appeared. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times increase. You've obtained 10,000 legendary grade Blade Hunter's Dragon Hunting Spear. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times increase. You've obtained 10,000 large dragon bones. Blade Hunter's Dragon Hunting Spear, Legendary. Description: a special weapon from the Blade Hunter. The spearhead contains spells of countless great wizards. Level 1. Effect: when used, causes 5,000,000 damage to dragons. Restriction: each dragon can only be injured by the dragon hunting spear once within 24 hours. It is ineffective against immortal grade dragons. Li Cheng looked at the dragon hunting spear in his hand and fell into deep thought. The Blade Hunters were a famous existence on the main road. They had existed on the continent for thousands of years, and the ancient arcane empire had been recorded by them. The goal and creed of the Blade Hunters were very simple: to kill all the dragons on the continent. They believed that all dragons were extremely dangerous and uncontrollable. Even the dragons from the Kind Camp were their enemies, and the Frost Dragon City was destroyed under their attack. A few thousand years ago, they used a super large-scale level 10 spell, causing all the Frost Dragons to lose their strength and fall into endless madness. One had to know that a level 10 spell was an ultimate spell that was one level higher than a forbidden spell. This was also one of the reasons why the dragons took revenge on the human empire. After coming back to his senses, Li Cheng was not very interested in this extreme organization. However, he had to admit that these legendary dragon hunting spears were still very useful. They could cause 50 million damage, even to the thick-skinned dragons. This amount of damage was not low. For those low-level dragons, it could insta-kill them. As for dragon bones, they were extremely rare materials and were very valuable in the market. Of course, for Li Cheng, this reward was very ordinary. He did not lack anything that could be bought with money. Chapter 59, Frost Princess Sylvia. After checking the spoils of war, Li Cheng looked at the map and found that there was still 1/8 of the red dots left on the map. Seeing this, he did not mind it. He sent out 1,000 frost marksmen to continue clearing the area while he led the rest of the troops to the edge of the map. Frost Dragon City was actually the lair of the Frost Dragons. However, thousands of years ago, the Blade Hunters raided this place and brought about the destruction of the entire Frost Dragon City. The place he was going to now was the largest lair of the Frost Dragons. Soon, Li Cheng led his troops to the edge of the map. In front of him was a steep mountain wall. When he saw that he had arrived at his destination, he immediately ordered without thinking, "Attack!" Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The elven archers obediently listened. Countless arrows pierced through the air and hit the hard mountain wall. Just as he had imagined, the sound of attacks colliding did not appear. Instead, countless damage numbers appeared. Seeing this, Li Cheng was delighted. It seemed that his memory had not changed. He had come to the right place, so he ordered everyone to attack. Immediately, countless damage numbers appeared. After attacking continuously for half an hour, there was a loud sound. The entire ground shook violently. Immediately after, the mountain wall in front of them began to crack. Crack! A crisp cracking sound was heard and a huge hole appeared on the mountain wall in front of him. Li Cheng proceeded to lead his troops into the cave. The temperature inside the cave was even lower. Everything he saw with his eyes was crystal clear. The ice blocks looked like they had been specially carved. They were extremely beautiful. Not long after Li Cheng entered the cave, the interior of the cave became huge. In this cave, there were countless dragon skeletons that were extremely huge. His gaze became even more excited. He ignored the dragon skeletons and continued to move forward. About 20 minutes later, he could see the entire cave clearly. In front of him, there was a huge hall. At the end of the hall, there was a magnificent throne that was connected to the top of the cave. On the throne, there was a girl wearing a gorgeous dress. Her fair cheeks were flawless. Her appearance was not inferior to Lillian and Luna. At this moment, her eyes were tightly closed. Li Cheng cast a scouting spell and information about this young girl appeared. Frost Princess Sylvia, unconscious. Description: the princess of the Frost Dragon clan. Her body contains a great amount of energy. Sylvia, Li Cheng was too familiar with this name. In his previous life, this name became known to everyone a few years after the game server opened. The players even gave her the title the Frost Queen. Sylvia was the main character of the Dragon Empire version of the game that came out a few years later. She single-handedly pushed forward the Dragon War, allowing the already weakened Dragon Empire to once again descend onto the continent. At that time, countless dragons attacked the continent. Not only humans, but the elves, dwarves, and even the underground world suffered. The war of revenge that she started indirectly caused the deaths of several true gods. Finally, under the leadership of the God of Light, humans, elves, dwarves, and other races formed an alliance after thousands of years. Many gods joined in to defeat the Dragon Empire that Sylvia ruled. Then, she fell at the hands of a mythical grade paladin. Recalling the memories in his brain, Li Cheng could not help but carefully look at Sylvia on the throne. At this time, her face still appeared a little tender, but it was exquisite and beautiful. It slowly overlapped with the Frost Queen in Li Cheng's memories. However, the current Sylvia was not the Frost Queen. She was just an unconscious Frost Princess. Li Cheng could see that Sylvia's health bar was almost bottomed out. Li Cheng moved his gaze away and looked at the huge ice pillar connected to the throne. In the middle of the ice pillar, there was a blue light. He cast a detection spell and the information immediately appeared. Dragon Soul, Immortal. Seeing this, Li Cheng's breathing stopped. He opened his eyes wide and looked at it a few times before he realized that he had not seen it wrongly. In Li Cheng's memories, the Dragon Soul was the Frost Queen Sylvia's immortal grade tool. It was also the foundation of her revenge. It could be powered by the Dragon Soul. Only after it was activated did Sylvia have the ability to fight against gods. Li Cheng did not expect the legendary Dragon Soul to appear before him just like that. It was truly unexpected. At this time, he shifted his gaze away. If he wanted to obtain the Dragon Soul by force, it would not be a problem. He just needed to destroy the throne. However, he did not do so. He had a bigger plan. Behind the throne, there were many 1-meter-tall dragon eggs. He had the dragon's blood crystal. Hatching them should not be too big of a problem. To be on the safe side, he decided to wake Sylvia up first. Thinking of this, Li Cheng took out a large dragon's blood crystal from his backpack and walked to the front of the throne. He slowly lifted Sylvia's head and touched her pale pink lips. Then, he crudely stuffed the large dragon's blood crystal into her mouth. However, Sylvia, who was unconscious, frowned slightly. With a push of her pink little tongue, she instantly spat out the dragon's blood crystal. After that, Li Cheng tried a few more times, but she still spat it out. Then, Li Cheng made up his mind. He did not care whether she was a beauty or not. He opened Sylvia's mouth and stuffed the large dragon's blood crystal into it, then, forcefully closed her mouth. Seeing that she could not spit it out, Li Cheng also let out a comfortable sigh. Finally, he was done. The sound of a system notification rang in his ears. Ding, dong. You've used a large dragon's blood crystal on Frost Princess Sylvia, restoring her HP to 50,000 points. Ding, dong. You've triggered a 10,000 times amplification. Frost Princess Sylvia has recovered 500 million HP. After the system's voice fell, a huge green light descended from the sky and landed on Sylvia's body, causing her originally bottomed-out health bar to be filled up in an instant. Oh! With a soft moan, Sylvia slowly opened her eyes. Her ice blue eyes, which belonged solely to the Frost Dragon clan, were filled with confusion at first. Then, it quickly fixed on Li Cheng's face. The ice blue eyes of the young girl were filled with vigilance. Li Cheng did not make any movements either. Soon, the vigilance on her face disappeared, replaced by a sense of dignity. "Human, was it you who saved me? There doesn't seem to be a second person here, right?" Li Cheng shrugged and gestured around with his hands. Seeing Li Cheng's attitude, Sylvia frowned slightly. Sensing his current attitude, she nodded and said, "Thank you for your contribution to the Frost Dragon clan. I'll give you a reward. Are you satisfied?" Chapter 60, Submit or Die. Hearing this, Li Cheng's lips curled up into a cold smile. Was this like giving money to a beggar? Giving him a reward to get rid of him? Although Sylvia's reward might not be bad, that was only for ordinary players. Li Cheng was not here to be the savior, so he naturally had no such thoughts. He did not plan to beat around the bush with Sylvia, so he said, "Sylvia, I didn't appear before you to be your savior. I'll give you two choices. First, submit to me and join my territory. I can guarantee you that the Frost Dragons will be many times stronger than they were thousands of years ago. Second, die." As soon as he finished speaking, Sylvia's expression became dangerous. She stared at Li Cheng, and cold killing intent was instantly released. "You want the great Frost Dragons to submit to a human? That's impossible." Compared to Sylvia's coldness, Li Cheng merely shrugged indifferently. Even if Sylvia did not join him, it would not be a big problem. In the end, Li Cheng's gaze fell on the dragon eggs behind Sylvia. With these dragon eggs, he could produce an extremely powerful dragon army by himself. Li Cheng's action made Sylvia nervous. She said angrily, "What are you trying to do? What do you think?" Li Cheng did not take it seriously at all. He continued, "Aren't dragon eggs supposed to be hatched? Or are you going to eat them? Hehe, do you think the dragon eggs of our clan can hatch just because you say so?" Sylvia laughed as if she had heard the biggest joke in the world. "It's not my family's eggs. If it can't hatch, then I'd just forcefully hatch it. Anyway, my heart doesn't hurt either way," Li Cheng said indifferently. "You?" Sylvia was so angry by Li Cheng's attitude that her face turned red. She wanted to kill this hateful human immediately. With a swoosh, Sylvia stood up from the throne. Before she could do anything, countless frost marksmen had already drawn their bows and aimed them at her. Sylvia froze. She could sense an extremely dangerous aura from these archers. They were extremely terrifying. Then, she saw Lillian and Luna. These two heroines were looking at her coldly. In Lillian's hand, there was a strange long spear. It was the legendary dragon hunting spear. Sylvia was shocked and shouted, "You're blade hunters." Li Cheng shook his head. "No, this was taken out of the body of the giant dragon outside." Sylvia looked at Li Cheng, not believing his words at all. However, she quickly confirmed one thing. If they were to fight, she would not be able to win. At this moment, she felt that Li Cheng was not lying. People who were weaker than her generally would not lie. There was no need for him to lie to her. Seeing the various thoughts in Sylvia's beautiful eyes, Li Cheng continued, "I'm a lord of another world. Joining my territory isn't considered submitting to the various empires." Li Cheng was giving Sylvia a way out. "Moreover, I can swear in the name of the goddess that these dragon eggs will definitely hatch." Hearing Li Cheng's words, Sylvia's expression changed. She could feel that Li Cheng was the spokesperson of a certain god. To be able to swear in the name of the goddess, the credibility of his statement was extremely high. Sylvia hesitated. She did not want to surrender, but the result would be her own death. This did not matter, but the dragon eggs behind her were the only remaining bloodline of the frost dragon. In the end, Sylvia sighed and chose to surrender. "I hope you aren't lying, human." As Sylvia surrendered, the system's voice rang at the right time. "Ding, dong. You've successfully recruited the SS class hero, Frost Princess Sylvia. Ding, dong. The loyalty of your hero, Frost Princess Sylvia, is too low. There's a risk of rebellion. Player, please, be on your guard." Hearing the system's voice, Li Cheng nodded his head in satisfaction. As expected of the main character of a larger version of the game. It was actually an SS class hero, one rank higher than Luna. Although her loyalty was relatively low, Li Cheng was not afraid of her rebellion. He was quite familiar with this Frost Queen who would stir up a storm in the future. Therefore, Li Cheng immediately used a hero advancement stone on her, raising her level to SSS class. He also used some hero skill points to fill up all her skills. Then, Li Cheng checked Sylvia's attributes. Frost Princess Sylvia. Description: a princess of the Frost Dragon clan. Her body contains a great amount of frost energy. It is said that she possesses the bloodline of the ancient dragon god. Class: Ice Dragon Royal Clan. Level: 20. Grade: SSS. HP: 3,600,000. Mana: 2,500,000. Strength/Magic: 240,000. Defense: 1,500. Skill 1, Frost Dragon's Breath, Level 10. Spits a terrifying ice attribute Dragon's Breath at the enemy, dealing up to 100,000 magic attack, multiplied by 100 ice attribute damage to the enemy. Skill 2, Dragon Magic Resistance, Level Max. Dragons are born with resistance to magic. All magic resistance increased by 80%, immune to deceleration effect. Skill 3, Shape-Shifting, Level Max. You can freely switch between being a human to a dragon. Skill 4, Frost Dragon's Command, Level Max. As the most respected Frost Princess, all Frost Dragons will listen to her commands. All Ice Dragons' defense and attack will be increased by 50%. Loyalty: 0. Food consumption: 200,000,000/day. It had to be said that Sylvia's attributes were very high. Her HP and defense were much higher than other races. Of course, after being unconscious for a long time, her attributes had decreased greatly. Otherwise, her HP and mana would be at least 9 digits. Her 4 skills were also quite powerful. Frost Dragon's Breath was simply an AoE skill to wash one's face. Dragon's Breath was also a representative skill of dragons. Sylvia's Dragon's Breath could deal damage to 100,000 troops. In addition, her damage coefficient was frighteningly high. It could be said to be a devastating blow. Moreover, her magic resistance had greatly increased Sylvia's survivability. The last skill could increase the attack and defense of all the Frost Dragons by 50%. After all, the number of Frost Dragons was very high. Adding this 50%, even Li Cheng felt that it was a little ridiculous. After closing Sylvia's interface, Li Cheng looked at the dragon eggs behind her. There were about 5,000 dragon eggs. They were about a meter tall and were ice blue in color. Li Cheng cast a scouting spell and their attributes appeared in front of him.